Market Scraper here. In this video, I'm going to talk about two big concerns I have with SHLL stock. Tortoise Acquisition. And first of all, what is Tortoise Acquisition? We're going to get into that and my two concerns I have that I think are kind of flying a little bit under the radar right now. Okay, let's jump into this. Before we jump into this video though, don't forget to smash down that like button. It really helps this video, helps other people see this content, and if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free to do, and I'd be really appreciative of that. Okay, let's get into this. So what is Tortoise Acquisition Company? So they announced that they're doing a reverse merger with Hyliion. But what is Hyliion? Hyliion is essentially a renewable energy powertrain company, and they have two main offerings that you need to be aware of. One is a hybrid powertrain that can be retrofit to any Class 8 semi truck out there. And so that's pretty exciting because there's a lot of existing trucks out there instead of just having to buy a new truck. And their second, arguably more exciting, definitely more exciting offering is a full-on semi truck that can run on natural gas. And this truck is actually carbon negative, actually, not just carbon neutral, potentially like electricity, potentially. And electricity is not even carbon neutral at the moment because most electricity comes from, well, not most, but a lot of it comes from fossil fuels right now. It depends on where you're living and what state you're living in. If most of it comes from whether it's wind, whether it's fossil fuels, or whether it's hydroelectric. So it depends on where your energy is coming. It makes it more green or not green. So that's really interesting, and look more into that if you're like, how can that be not just carbon neutral but negative? So it's cheap, it's like better for the environment when you drive. Answer is kind of yes. So look into that. But in this video, we're going to talk about the two concerns I have. And did I invest in Hyliion or SHLL? And the answer is yes. So I invested, and it's important to kind of know when I'm talking about the stock, and if I say I invested in it, when I invested in the stock, for you to know, because it's not like you should necessarily jump in at any price, and this is not financial advice. So I jumped in at $16.19. I jumped in on the Wednesday after the announcement. I jumped in there. It was around $16 and some change. I jumped in also, added more shares on the following day, Thursday, because it jumped up over $17, then went back down to $16, and I started to add in anything under $17. And also, I'm not adding so much to this position because it's a small position of mine, and it's a position that I don't intend to add more shares to, even though I did think that recently when it dipped back to $25, I thought that was a pretty good entry point, but I'm not interested in adding more right now unless it went below or went into the $16 range or even below my price point. And so if it went down to like $14, I would probably double my position, for example. So that's at least my plan at the moment. And I don't want this position to be incredibly huge because it's a very speculative play at the moment. Okay, now what's the concern number one I have? And keep in mind that I think the concern number two is actually super interesting, and I definitely want your thoughts on concern number two. So definitely pay attention to concern number two. But so concern number one I have is that we have a 3-month timeline we still have. So what's this 3-month timeline that I'm talking about? Well, they announced that they're doing a reverse merger, SHLL with Hyliion. And so that's going to happen in 3 months. Is going to be the official date where the combined company, and they have like a Hyliion ticker symbol. And so that is going to be end of Q3 and probably around September time. So that time frame, and paired with the fact that investors have already seen Nikola and what has happened with VTIQ, which is also a SPAC stock. VTIQ was a SPAC stock that eventually merged with Nikola. So this has a similar story, similar industry, same industry for the Class 8 semi trucks. And we've seen investors and how they've reacted with that stock already. Since investors kind of have a picture of what happened with Nikola stock, they have this blueprint of what might happen with Hyliion. So since investors have already seen what happened to Nikola, it's going to kind of fast track what happens to Hyliion, in my opinion. And so that makes it really interesting, and a really interesting play to jump in at, because the valuation for Nikola went to $30 billion at one point. It's still over $20 billion right now. And so that means what's the valuation of Hyliion? A lot less than $20 billion. So that makes it very attractive. And also the value proposition is very, very attractive, especially when you're comparing the two companies. Now, the idea here, though, is that if that's going to hyper speed what happens to the valuation of SHLL, so because a lot of people are waiting for, okay, after 3 months, it's going to jump a lot. And that might be the case. But I think that people are going to jump on Hyliion a lot faster. So the SHLL Tortoise Acquisition, I think we're seeing that already to a certain extent. But I think that the problem there is also, not only will it jump a lot faster and a lot quicker and not necessarily wait till after the merger to jump a whole lot more. I think it will jump a lot. I think it will jump significantly after the merger because that's going to seal the deal with some worries. But I think we're going to see a massive amount of fluctuation here because people are going to jump into the stock a lot faster, which is going to cause the stock to go up a lot more because they saw the blueprint of Nikola. But at the same time, people are going to leave the stock because there's 3 months to wait. And there's some, obviously, before every merger is sealed, there's some risk involved with that as well. Even though it's when September comes around, all they have to do is for the shareholders to basically sign off and vote yes. And the shareholders are going to no doubtly want this to go through. But there's always a perceived risk of the merger not going through. So that might massively make a stock go down and up during this time, which can also be a great opportunity too. So there's a few ways you can look at this. Now, the second reason, which is really interesting, and in part tied a little bit to the first reason, but it comes from the fact that there's a lot of people who are invested in SHLL or Hyliion that are bashing completely Nikola stock, and for good reasons, in my opinion. A lot of people think it's a scam maybe, or things like that, but basic thing is that Nikola stock, or Nikola the company, the CEO just stepped down right after they merged. That's a little bit interesting. Why did that happen? It doesn't give you confidence in the company, let's say, at least. The second thing is that the trucks that people were reserving, I'm not sure about right now, but very recently, you, myself, could just reserve a semi-truck. No money down, no questions asked, essentially. And that's fueling some of the stock price. So that's concerning. And the other thing is that they're going to start taking reservations for their Badger pickup truck. And people are starting to put money down for that maybe soon. And there is no actual truck. It's based on a render. That's a little bit concerning too. So there are many concerning things. And so why does that matter exactly? Well, it matters because if you have investors that are flocking into SHLL that also think Nikola is a joke or a scam, if you really think that, then it should be a little bit concerning, a little bit. At least it should be on your radar. Because what happens, and know that Trevor Milton goes on CNBC and kind of goes on these like random tangents, doesn't make himself necessarily look good in my opinion, and also is actually asked hard questions, which is great, but it makes me worried that something bad might come out. And why does that make me worried? If there are cracks in Nikola, the company, and something is exposed in some way that investors are kind of freaked out because there's actual fraud or it's not what they thought it was exactly, and they just crash down, it's going to take down, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, but it will take down other stocks like SHL or Hyliion. Why is that the case? The case is because these other stocks like Hyliion, they're not these stocks that have a huge foundation already. They're not these true and proven companies yet. They're riding on the tailwinds of other companies. They're riding on this EV hype. So if you have a company like Nikola, who's kind of treading this way in the semi industry right now, and which I think is a really good space. I mean, this is a like $800 billion opportunity for these companies to tackle here. And you have Tesla, Nikola, and Hyliion taking on this market share. And I think that's great. There's two ways to look at when other companies fail. There's market consolidation. For example, let's say Ford decides tomorrow to close down their electric business. That will look like more of a win for Tesla, and Tesla's market share would go up because the competition is going down. And why is that? That's because Tesla has proven itself already. Okay, but now what if you have a company like Hyliion who no one knows about, and it's based on a little bit of this hype, and also in part from what Nikola did. If Nikola crashes down right now, then it would give doubt for all the other companies that are being hyped up with it. So if Nikola crashes down because of some problem in their business model and something that they're not telling you or something like that, and if you really think that Nikola is a scam, then you should be a little bit concerned. If news in the next 3 months or whatever comes out against Nikola, that will impact SHL. SHL won't just gain the market share from Nikola because there's enough market out there right now with $800 billion. So it's all about the legitimacy of these businesses. And if Nikola delegitimizes this in any way, that's a huge red flag and a concern in my mind of what could smash down these stocks. And they're kind of riding together. So this would only increase potentially Tesla stock because it would be considered more consolidation towards Tesla. So those are the two concerns I have with these two stocks. And full disclosure, remember that I'm invested in SHLL stock. So let me know what you guys think of this stock. What do you guys think of these reasons? Do you think if Nikola, some bad news comes out around that, do you think that it would impact SHLL stock like I'm saying? Or do you think it would go up because there's some kind of consolidation that's forming? I think in the long run, if something happens to Nikola, like down the road, when Hyliion's already a successful company, making lots of money, and is respected already, I think that would absolutely help to consolidate the space and would actually bring that stock up. But right now, I do not think that's the case. Well, I hope you guys thought this video was interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.